Alright, UFS community, it's going to be Phil Birch today, coming in again on a November day. Going to be talking to you about the good symbol. I'm going to be trying to do a couple of these videos, at least get you a good view of the competitive symbols we have at the time. Kind of give you a view of what characters are competitive in those symbols, foundations, assets, actions, attacks, stuff like that. Just give you a good sense of how to compete, and even if it's just at a local event, really help yourself out and get yourself a good competitive advantage. I'm going to be giving you like a list of what cards I think are viable in both a defensive and an offensive build of good. And it's very strange to hear good as an offensive symbol, but I believe that it's one of the funnest aggro symbols to play. And it does it really well with a variety of damage pumps that function both as damage pumps and defensive cards as well. Alright, so first I'm going to be starting off with the characters. I believe some of the top competitive characters for the good symbol are Skullman, Vincent Grey. They're really like the headliners of the new set for the good symbol. They brought a lot to the table, a ton of foundations and attacks, and really just took the good symbol probably over the top. Skullman has the ability to just play a very slow game, and his big life is great on set with the good symbol's defensive capabilities. He also has the ability to play one of the biggest attack turns, just because of his enhanced to take cards off progressive difficulty, and his progressively growing hand size as well. So if you couple them together with some of the good throw cards, you could just chip away your opponent over a multitude of turns, and really just take the game out of their control. Excuse me. Next, Vincent Grey. Vincent Grey is just a very solid character. He's got the control check hacking ability to keep him alive. He also has a very solid damage pump, and his damage pump also shortens the game by removing the cards from your opponent's deck from the game. That might not seem like it shortens the game, but added up over the multiple turns, it could really start taking a toll on your deck when you're starting to see 10, 15 cards removed from the game. And then you go to a cycle with cards on the field and everything, you're probably down to about a 20 card deck, and that's really not fun to deal with. Next I'm going to go with kind of like an off-the-cuff character that I think is good. And then I'm going to go to maybe the major competitive version, or the major competitive good characters. I think Good King is a very solid deck. It has its weaknesses, but I think most decks do. And I believe that it can sit back and defend well enough to overcome its weaknesses. Like, Good King is just great because of the synergy between ZING and Flinging Half Nelson. ZING, you could play it as your 5th card with like no progressive, or as your 6th card with no progressive difficulty. Then you can form with King to play a Flinging Half Nelson. You couple that together with Moon Comes Over the Mountains, From the Mouses, Gonza Novas, Nursing a Grudges, and you just have very, very, very big attack turns. And that bodes well for King when your attacks are all hitting for probably 5 damage, even if they're blocked. And that can really shorten the game. Its only one problem is it doesn't have a very solid way to deal with Strange Fashion off of good. But all in all, I do believe it's a very solid deck. Next to competitive good characters, you both know, I'm sure you all know or have heard of Amy and Mike Lowe off the good symbol. Garrett plays Amy off the good symbol and has done very well competitively. He won US Nets in 2012. He is, I believe he claims it's undefeated, something like that. I guess he's gone to draws, stuff like that, but he's never lost with it. And that's just because she has a solid defensive ability and the breaker effect she has, along with being able to pump her attacks their speed very high, in compilation with like some of her cards, like her throne room and such and stuff like that. It really lends to very good aggression as well as defense. And the 7 hand size, obviously you get the outbuilding capabilities off of that. The other competitive good character right now, I believe, is Mike Lowe. Mike Lowe has the ability to ready all of the extremely good foundations off of the good symbol, as well as supplying a pump. and his 7 hand size again allows you to outbuild your opponent. And off a good, that's very easy to do. AJ recently piloted Mike Lowe to a top 8 in Canadian Nationals. His good deck was very solid. I beat him in top 4, but I could easily have seen it going the other way. You get to it's just what Mike Lowe does. It just does it off of a good symbol with a lot more defense and things like that. Alright, so next I'm going to be moving out to the foundations. Good has the best selection of foundations in the game. It has the most 0 and 1 difficulty foundations in the game. It has the most disruptive foundations. It has the best 3 difficulty foundations. It's just very, very solid. Figuring out what 0 difficulties to play in good can sometimes be a challenge just because you have so many options. There are 4 of them, so you have 4 Heroes Training. You have Heroes Training, Instability, Man Behind the Mask, Cope for One's Peoples. Just a lot of good cards like that. It lends yourself to a lot of versatility on what you want to do. I usually end up playing a Heroes Training, even though it's probably the worst one. It could easily be Instability in probably all my decks. But Heroes Training is the most fun one, just because of the luck factor in it, and the luck factor is always good. Instability, your opponent can't reduce your attacks, and that's always good. It allows your aggression to be more. You can be more aggressive and stuff. Man Behind the Mask, the best 0 difficulty in the game, with the +1 or -1 of the Desperation. Very easy, including all 3 of its symbols. Hope for One's People, pretty much the same thing. You get Desperation F to commit a card, and that's very good with a +3 high block. Next, I'm going to be talking about some of Good's, good 1 difficulty foundations. First off, I'm going to go with Fearless. I think Fearless is a very good card, but I think it's the worst of the ones I'm going to mention, definitely. Fearless is really good in combo, or decks that play the combo ability, because it gets the extra 2 damage on it with the response, as well as allowing you to draw a card if you do take any damage. So it's good 2 ways. It's got a defensive ability and offensive ability, and cards like that are really good, and I'm going to say good a lot in this movie, definitely, apparently. They're really valuable to a deck. Next, we're going to go Known to Talk. Known to Talk is probably one of the 2nd or 3rd most broken cards in the format on a foundation with a 1/5. It can completely end your opponent's turn. If you get multiples of them out early, your opponent doesn't want to play you anymore, and they want to punch you in the face. On black, you get to clog their card pool, and it's just very annoying and obnoxious and very hard to deal with outside of cards like Silence and things like that. Next, we're going with Torn Hero. Torn Hero is an awesome card, but it's also kind of too much. It's the anti-stun card that is probably the most overpowered. It has no balancing to it, but it's from kind of like a different era, I'd say. And I'd be okay with it staying or going, but it's just good at defensive against committal effects. It keeps your characters ready, keeps your assets ready, actions, and I don't know why actions, but yeah. And then the last 1 difficulty I'm going to talk about is Cursed Blood. Cursed Blood's also another auto-include in any of its symbols, and is the most broken card in the game right now. You get to build way faster than your opponent already, but couple that with Cursed Blood and you're going to build 2-3 times faster, depending on how many you have. It also can get rid of problem foundations just by existing, and it makes your opponent's choices a lot harder. If you've ever played against it or with it, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm not going to go too much in depth to that one. Alright, next we're moving on to the 2 difficulties. And they have a good mixture of like offensive and defensive 2 difficulties. And this is why I think that good can go either way when you're deciding to build a deck. First off, I have card Breakfast on my list. Breakfast, I think, is another cool Skullman card that you got. It allows your 6 hand size and 5 hand size good characters to be more viable because of against the higher hand size lets you draw a card. And if your character happens to have an O blood type, it's a +3 or -3 damage. which is really cool on a first E. The downside is it doesn't have a block, but I think it fits into a lot of decks really nicely, even just as like a 2-of. Next I'm going to go along to the speed pumps that I found. We got Fortress Frame and Together Again. Both present their own unique things to the table, but they're both two-way cards in the end. And with all the characters I mentioned, you can use Fortress Frame to give your attack speed just by enhancing with them. And that's always good. Together Again, obviously you have to check the 4, but still relatively free for a +1 speed. Fortress Frame minuses your opponent's speed at the same cost, just a character enhance, and removing the top card of your deck. And then Together Again, obviously you respond before you block, and your block is going to get -2 difficulty. Those are both, in my opinion, auto-includes. As long as you have an enhance on your character, you play Fortress Frame. And Together Again, you just have to be playing it. It's very good. Very, very good. Next, I'm going to go with I'm going to go with some of the aggressive foundations that I like to play in my good decks. Breakfast would be included in this category, obviously, too. It's just a two-way thing. But first off, For Justice is pretty cool. As long as you share at least 2 symbols with most of your attacks, it's a very awesome card to play. Because +3 damage is a lot of damage. It doesn't have a block. 2/5, though. Enhanced Commit for 3 damage is always pretty cool. Then you've got Regretful Existence. Regretful Existence is probably the one that would be in any of your good decks regardless. You just destroy a foundation while it's committed to give +2 damage to any of your any of your attacks. And then the third one's kind of niche too. It'd be Red Horizon. Red Horizon is pretty much for your predominantly Red Horizon attack lineups, because you can use it to give 2 damage. That if you double the damage, you get to ready it, and you can use it on your next attack, which is always kind of cool. I find it playing in a lot of my decks because I believe the Red Horizon good attacks are the best ones. But that's just opinion and all that. Next we have a couple of, I'd call them control cards, or cards that are going to stop your opponent from beating your face in, I guess. We have Uncovering the Truth and Good and Evil. Those both are very good against Vespera, especially if a way of generating quick momentum. Then they both become very, very strong. Uncovering the Truth isn't reusable, but it runs a 2/5, and it's not unique. And Good and Evil is a unique 2/4. They both have a low block, and they both pretty much just stop your responses from your opponent, which is always kind of cool. Nursing a Grudge from the Mouse Humility. Those are both just recursion cards. They help your aggro builds, your combo-oriented builds, things like that. I'm not going to go too in depth to them because that's really all there is to say. Next I have Memories of a Nightmare. Memories of a Nightmare shuts off some of the problem cards that are going to go against you. You turn off their Void cards, which have a lot of good control in them. Turn off their Evil, which have some hacks to them, some damage negation, stuff like that. And also their Death cards, and their Death cards can be pretty disruptive too, like Flexible Bodies, things like that. It's all in all just a really good card. I find it in pretty much all my decks. I really like the symbols on it. It just works for me. And then Sweetdiculous. Sweetdiculous is, as its title says, it's Sweetdiculous. Just resets the damage and speed of your opponent's attack. It's unique. It's got a low block. Low blocks are always good. But it's just one of those cards that's new. People probably haven't really tapped into its full potential yet. People are going to find awesome ways to play that card, regardless. And then there's 2/3 difficulty foundations that are very good off of the good symbol. Strange Fashion stops throws, protects your small characters like Mike, Lowe, and Amy with the ability to just half block instead of full blocking. Just a very good card. And then Law of the Land. Law of the Land is a speed reset. It also can make their attacks mid. Just makes things easier to block again. Both the cards pretty much just are for blocking, and they do a very good job at it. So that's really it for the foundations. Next, I'm going to go on to the attacks. A lot of the attacks you're going to find, I find at least, came from the Red Horizon sets, which is why I find Red Horizon to be a great pump in all my decks. First, I'm going to go with one of my new favorite cards, that would be KAPLOW. I think KAPLOW is super awesome just because of its reversal 10 damage thing it's got going on with stun 2. It's an 8 difficulty. I've never gotten to play it. I don't own any. I'll admit it. I want to own some, but like every time I have it played, like, or I see it played, I'm like, yes, that is cool. That is very awesome. It has cool synergies with a lot of characters. Like if you're playing the foil Kyo, I'm not sure a ton of you are, but like if you proxied it out and have some fun with it, it makes the KAPLOW easy to play. It's really cool. It's cool stuff like that. ZAAAP is super good. ZAAAP is just a very cost-effective attack. It's got 5 difficulty, 3 check. It's got 6 speed, 3 damage, but 5 from its enhance if your opponent's not playing a stacker or if you're not. Stun 1, plus 2 mid block. It's ranged. It's really cool. It's got good stats and everything. And I find that a lot of people try and play it at least to some extent. ZING. ZING's my favorite card in the entire game. That card's amazing. Not much to say about it, I guess. I just like the ability to be able to play it after 5 cards on a 6. I like throws. I like its free damage pump. It doesn't have a block. It's its downside, but it comes in at like an average of 7 damage, probably. And it's got really cool combos you can do with it. It lends itself to a lot of cool combo decks, and that's what I like about it. Next, I'm going to kind of go into the kicks and the kick lineup that Good likes to play. Ballistic Snap Kick and Leaping Snap Kick are the 2 cards. So the Snap Kicks of Good. Ballistic Snap Kick's probably the best block in the game. Block with Breaker 2, plus 1 mid, burn your opponent 4 life. It's on a 2 check, but like it's really justified as a 2 check. I think that card is very nuts. 2 speed high for 5 too if you're trying to go aggressive with it. And that's very possible with all the speed pumps you get in Good. And then Leaping Snap Kick. Just no one to talk on an attack, which is cool. 3 speed high, 3 damage, plus 1 mid block again, 3 check, 3 difficulty. Just very, very good utility reversal, and it's got a kick. It's got a kick, so you can throw it into this Dragon Lifter that I'm going to talk about next. Dragon Lifter Amy decks are probably the best Good decks, just because you can't block 13 speed Dragon Lifters, and they usually are running for about 10 damage a piece because of how strong some of the good cards are. And that's quite a lot of damage. I don't know if you like taking Dragon Lifters for that much, but I sure as hell don't. And if you're playing Dragon Lifter, another 3 difficulty to like consider would be Shadow Ore. I didn't talk about it because I don't find it as many in my decks, but it's pretty good. Next, kind of like a Dragon Flame, I guess, lineup I'd play would be Righteousness, Dragon Flame, Mark of the Beast kind of thing. Dragon Flame's cool. Its combo is mid weapon, high attack. So you Mark of the Beast into Righteousness and Dragon Flame, and you're hitting it for about 20 because of how awesome this card is. Gets damage equal to the total of all previous attacks in your card pool. And it has another enhance. It's Committed Foundation plus 2 speed. It's just a cool combo. Nobody really plays it anymore. I'm going to try and find some copies of it and throw a deck together for you guys on the internet. But other than that, it's just a lineup I've thought of at one point. Righteousness, self-explanatory card. Stack for plus 1, minus 1. Plus 1 mid block. It's got 1 check. Enhance, get foundations for free. Enhance, return your opponent's attack to printed damage. 5 high, 5 damage. It's just very all-around great. It's probably the best attack in Standard, even though it's not my favorite card. Next, Mark of the Beast. Very overlooked, not really played right now, but it's very good against Tribs. Very good against Tribs, very good against Spinning Demons. You block with it. If you block a multiple copy, or if you block a multiple card, they clear all the multiples. And Trib decks and stuff are really popular right now. Flash Needle decks are kind of popular right now. So all these things really don't like to be blocked by Mark of the Beast. So that's kind of my attacks. It also has an enhanced discard momentum, 4 damage, 4 speed mid. It's just I say that's a pretty solid attack that nobody really looks at right now. Alright, next I'm going to be moving on to my assets. First off, we have Amy's Castle, Ostreinsburg Castle Throne Room. Best asset in the game, arguably. Plus 2 to all block modifiers, so your opponent can't ever block ever. Then you enhance to give the attack minus 2 damage so that you can block. It's just very kind of unbalanced as this terrain. good block, good stats, things like that. It's just very not cool. I wouldn't mind seeing it like go. It's kind of hard to get rid of assets though that I don't think see that much play. But I'm not really a big fan of it, I guess I'd say. Then you have Hild's weapon. So Guan, Zende, Nova, Frisho, Himmel. Draw cards, speed. It has everything to it. You can draw a card on your opponent's turn. All that cool stuff. I know you guys like new cards. 2/5 weapon. Cool things like that. I'm not going to go too much more in depth into that either. I feel like the assets are pretty self-explanatory. And you can kind of figure out what decks to play them in. Like Amy's Castle's obviously in the Dragon Lifter deck. Guan's and Nova is probably more in the Zing Dragon Flame decks. But, you know, it's preference, obviously. All these cards choices I'm telling you about, they're all preference. I'm just trying to help you get a better grasp of what these cards are going to do for you. Actions, there's two big ones. Luck. Luck's really for just Amy, Mike Lowe, 7 hand size characters. Luck is their card. I wouldn't play Luck in anything more than a 7 hand size because it's just not good in 6. After your opponent plays 4 foundations, you get to build more, which is good strong suit, obviously. And then it has a form to draw a card, but still finding spot for that in a 6 hand size is very difficult. Very, very difficult. And then the auto include in all the decks that can play it, obviously, when the moon comes over the mountain. I'd say if you don't have them, you have to send an email to Garrett Brett or message him on the forums. You got to try and get some of these from him. This card is very good, very solid. Honestly, you just need to have them. It's one of the top competitive play cards, and all that stuff's going to really help you out in the end, obviously. So, just obviously, you got to do it. It gets you cards back from your discard pile. It makes your attack lineup more consistent. Its response gets you out of jams. It's just stuff. It's just something you have to really, just really play with to really get a sense of how good it is. So that's it. Those are all the cards that I think the good symbol runs off of, how it runs, why it runs off of those cards, what they do. Just very good stuff for that. I hope this has been a very insightful video. I enjoyed making it. I can do some more of these. I'm going to do more, obviously. Try and get you all a little bit more tournament ready for you for your various regionals, PTCs, nationals, worlds, heck, whatever you've got going on for you. So hit subscribe if you like these videos. Hit like, obviously. You can message me anytime on Facebook, add me as a friend. I'm on Twitter now, @TheRealKingSalty. And enjoy. I'll try and get another one of these videos up next week or sometime later this week. And I'll be posting all the cards I listed in UFS Ultra format in the description. So this is Phil Birch signing out. Have a great day, guys.